Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Brandon and Ryan Hour. I am Brandon,
And I'm Ryan.
and we're running late today.
Yes, we are.
All right. What are we talking about today, Ryan?
Yeah, so today is Monday, so we are doing a movie review on the new Amazon Prime movie, On a Wing and a Prayer,
Oh,
starring Dennis Quaid, Heather Graham, and some other people.
yeah, definitely some other people. Um, well, what'd you think?
Yeah, so my initial thoughts.
Warning.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and give the warning.
This is your warning. Leave now, or have the movie ruined for you. Because we're gonna tell you. We're gonna talk about everything in the movie. We're not leaving anything out. It's what we do here. We talk about the
Yep,
movie like
as
we
if you've
watched it.
seen it as well.
Yes.
Correct.
So stick around, hang out, make fun of us, make fun of the movie. Whatever. Don't care. Okay. You've been warned.
All right, so my initial thoughts. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but it wasn't great at the same time. It's very clearly a faith-based or Christian-based movie. Some of it seemed a little ham-fisted thrown in.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I'd give it, I don't know, a 6.1.
Yeah. As my thoughts too. It's just a run of the mill family movie. Nothing nothing too spectacular. It was good though. It was good, but it wasn't, it's not a movie you just watch every other weekend.
Right.
So yeah, that would probably be in there. Just to be different, I'll say 6.3.
Okay.
Don't want to copy you or nothing. Uh,
All right, so,
dang it.
and you're back. Look at
And
that.
the
Not
That
really
was
sure what
not the
happened
right
there.
button.
What was that?
That was not the right button.
Okay.
Did my audio change? Am I quieter or something?
No,
Okay.
your audio is fine.
Just checking.
Yeah, so movie is about a family that go into an airplane to get back home, and the pilot dies.
When I read that before I watched the movie, I was like, what? Pilot just died?
Yeah.
And then,
And apparently it's based on a true story
yeah, so
from
like,
like 2009.
I didn't realize that either. And then when it started, it's like based on the true events. And I was like, but did the pilot really die in mid flight? Like, that would suck.
Yeah, apparently the actual pilot really died.
He really died.
Yeah.
Had a heart attack.
Yep.
I don't know. I did look into it, but I don't know if all the other deaths were true or not. I think his brother did die.
Yeah, so that's what kind of kicks off the whole movie, and apparently that is a true part of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, his brother died. He had to go out of the state to his brother's funeral, and when they
Yeah,
were
they went
flying
to
back,
Florida for the funeral
right, and
from
then they were
Louisiana,
flying
I
back
think.
to Louisiana,
Yeah.
and their pilot had, I don't know, in the movie they said he had a heart attack, but the pilot, but I don't know
They
if
didn't.
that's what
Yeah.
actually happened.
Yeah, they didn't clarify as to whether or not he had a cardiac event. Regardless of how he died, his heart stopped beating.
Yeah.
um. Before we get too much into the plot, Dennis Quaid look weird to you now?
No, not really. I mean, he's just getting a little older. That's it.
Okay. I don't know. His face just looked I don't know. It's different. I don't
Okay.
know if it's just it's like getting more saggy or what, but it just looked. I haven't watched a movie with him in a while, so it's just looking a lot different. Maybe he's put on a few pounds. I don't know. Yeah. So it opens with him going on a test run or a what do they call it? I don't remember what they called
And
it.
like an exploratory flight, like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah,
training
yeah,
to
yeah,
become a pilot,
yeah.
or trying to,
Right.
flying a Cessna.
Yeah, fine. A little single engine plane. I'll be back.
Okay. But yeah, so he's flying the Cessna. He's clearly having a lot of issues trying to land the plane, and his brother is there in the plane with him, just giving him grief about how horrible he is at landing. And yeah, he's not able to land the single engine plane, and the instructor has to take back over. Then we cut over to a barbecue where him and his brother are competing to try to win some prize, which they do. They end up winning the barbecue competition, and then they go and feed a bunch of homeless people. And yeah, then they go back home. There's family drama. There are two girls that they have, and family drama because you can't have just a normal family. Everybody has to be drama based. So yeah, so the mom is correcting one of the daughters about not participating and not wanting to help those who are less fortunate. And then yeah, so then we jump over to a scene where Dennis Quaid, his character whose name is Doug, and his wife, who's played by Heather Graham, named Terry, are in the bedroom, whatnot, and then he gets a phone call, and his brother's died. So they've got to go back to Florida, where they just came from, to go to the funeral. And they force in a subplot where Doug, the character, starts having a crisis of faith because his granddad had died of a heart attack, his dad had died of a heart attack, and then his brother just died. So he's all of a sudden angry at God and thinking it's not fair that his family members are dying from heart attacks. And yeah, so a lot of good acting on Dennis Quaid's part for the first part of the movie. He's very engaging as an actor. Um, yeah, and then we also get some scenes of someone who just started working at an air traffic controlling center, uh, just trying to do the job and not get fired. Then that guy goes out to a bar and gets completely drunk, talks to some lady who was the singer of the night, and yeah, so he talks to her. They don't hit it off. She walks off. He continues drinking, and then the next day he's back at the air traffic control center with a hangover. And his friend, who apparently got him this temporary job there, kind of chews him out for a few minutes, telling him, "Hey, if you've got any alcohol in your system, you can be fired right now. So make sure you're good and get back to work." And yeah, so then the family goes to the tarmac to get on this little two-engine plane. I think they called it a King Air. And apparently the pilot is a family friend because the wife stops the pilot and tells him that his or her husband is having issues because of his brother's death. And so when the pilot gets on the plane, all the checks are done and whatnot. He invites Doug, Dennis Quaid's character, to come up and kind of co-pilot with him for the flight, just to experience what it's like to be at the front of the plane, I guess. And I don't know, 20, 30 minutes into the flight, the captain, the pilot, dies. And that's when all the real tension of the actual movie starts. Um, so Dennis Quaid is trying to figure out how to fly the plane, how to keep it from crashing, how to save his family. And now
I'm
Brandon's
back.
back. All right.
Did you done?
Yeah, I'm done. It's your turn now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did
so
you give the main plot points?
leading up to where the pilot dies and the real tension starts building for the movie.
I didn't know where the barbecue scene was going. I was like, why did we end up at a barbecue?
Yeah, I think it was just to set up that him and his brother had a close friendship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then talked about his crisis of faith when his brother died.
Dang. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Just a picture just came up because I have the IMDb page pulled up for
Oh,
the movie, and so it's like cycling the videos. And there's a picture of Dennis Quaid sitting there, and like it's a regular T-shirt, and like his arms are jacked.
okay.
Like his forearm was like just veins everywhere, and I was like, "What the freak is he doing? Roids? Is that why his face looks like that?" Not saying he's doing roids. I'm just saying he's jacked for like a 70-year-old man.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So the whole, I guess the only thing that bothered me was the crisis of faith.
Yeah.
They just pushed it too hard, and it
Yeah.
seemed,
Seemed very ham-fisted, just slammed in there
yeah,
to create some kind of drama
right,
or something he has to overcome.
yeah, just that, and I don't know. I guess I mean it's okay to have a crisis of faith, but like, and yeah, it's gotta suck to have like three people that you're you look up to and love like die relatively close together of the same kind of thing.
Well, we don't know how close apart they were because he just said it was his granddad, his dad, and his brother.
I
So I
thought he said
mean,
his dad, his uncle, and his brother.
thought he said granddad.
I thought it was
I mean, I
uncle.
could be wrong on that, but there's no timeline given on
Right,
how
yeah, there's no
quickly.
time like it. But the way they talked about it, it kind of made it seem like it could have been a short period of time, but it could have been a long period of time. Regardless, the 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 questioning of the faith did seem a little forced.
Yeah.
Um what else? It was funny when the pilot died. and, and he looks over and he's like he's trying to like get his attention. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I think they're talking to you." And he's like, he thought he was messing with him.
Yeah. And he's like, my brother just died. That's not funny.
I was
But
like,
hey, Pilot just
I
died too.
was like, I was like, you're about to laugh because he's not joking.
Yeah.
Joke's on you, buddy. He's not joking. Which made it funnier than if it would have been, it's been like, haha. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. Obviously, he didn't.
Yeah.
And then he tells his wife to not come up there. Of course, she's gonna immediately come up there.
Right.
Um. Anyway, it. I guess one thing about it, even though it was like, it, it wasn't like it wasn't a long. What was it? It was over. It was almost 2 hours, right?
Was it? I don't remember how long of a movie it was.
Um, hour and 42 minutes. So I guess not. Yeah, it it definitely could have been a movie where they like just it's just dragging, but it didn't seem to like be dragging because they did a bunch of cuts where like they're going around from to the different characters, which was kind of nice because it could have been
Yeah, I think it
a
did drag a little
slugfest.
bit because they introduced the kid who wanted to be a pilot when she grew up, listening to stuff,
Yeah,
and she played no part in the movie,
I
like
thought I
none
was like,
whatsoever.
okay, yeah, I was like, where's this kid going? But it didn't.
Yeah, there was no point to that character or her friend being in the movie at all.
Right, it didn't make sense. I'm like, okay, did that? I was trying to. I read the stuff at the end, but I didn't. I don't remember everything. Was she in the end thing where it was like,
No,
and she went on to be a pilot?
nope.
Okay, so yeah, I was like, what is she there for? Why is she here?
Yeah, like she played no part at all in the story of it at all. Like she didn't
Yeah,
help save the plane. She
yeah.
didn't.
When she showed up, I was like, oh, is she gonna be the one who like talks him down and how to land the plane up? Like, I was like, that's kind of unbelievable, but and it was because it's not what happened.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
just
They were
there
just
with a
there
friend.
listening to it, and then what? Towards the end of the movie, break into the airport on bicycles and outrun some guy in a car, which makes no sense at all.
Well, they could have been cutting through, and he's having to drive on the stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
It doesn't make sense that some 8 or 10-year-olds can outrun somebody in a car. Doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, and then they just show up, see the plane lands, and then they're like, "Hey, we should get out of here before we get in trouble."
yeah, I that whole
Like that was
yeah, I
their
didn't
entire
quite
storyline.
know why that was in the movie, but it wasn't like it could have done without it.
Yeah,
But it didn't
absolutely.
hurt the movie that it was in there, I don't think.
I think it did.
Okay. I don't think it really hurt too much. But um what do you have you have the air traffic controller guy in Florida, and then you have the pilot who's in Connecticut.
Yeah, pilot in
Were
Connecticut.
they brothers
No, they
or
were
just
just
friends?
friends. Yep.
Okay. Like I don't know. He's calls his friend because his plane's gonna crash.
Yeah, and nobody there has had experience flying that plane. Like there was one person who had any pilot experience, but not with that type of plane. So,
Yeah, but there's like dozens of pilots there.
well, they said that only one pilot had any kind of flight experience that was in the tower. So, yeah, they could have gone out to the tarmac and be like, "Hey, you pilot, come here," but they did not.
Yeah. And then the whole thing with they're like, he's like, how long has he been in the air? And they were like, I don't know, like 45 minutes. And they were like, oh, so his plane's full of fuel. I'm like, it's a tiny plane.
Yeah,
They were like, oh, what if he hits a civilian population? One house is going to burn down. That's it. It's not like a 747
right.
that's 100 feet across and carrying thousands of gallons of fuel. Like, it's a tiny plane. So I didn't understand why they were so worked up about that. And he's like trying to get extra fire trucks and all this stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you freaking out so much? I don't quite get it. It seemed like some of the people weren't concerned at all, and other people were too
Terrified.
concerned.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't this happy medium. Nobody was like the right amount concerned, except maybe the female um, air traffic controller who's talking to him at first,
Okay. From the first Florida, or yeah,
the first
wherever
airport,
she was.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
like everybody else just too concerned or not concerned enough. Like the Connecticut guy, like he was like deeply invested in this, and it was like the most life or death situation in the world.
Yeah, because he'd lost his family in an airplane crash before.
Right. That
So
we don't all we saw was like the newspaper
a
clipping where the
newspaper
flight
clipping. Right.
800 went down.
Yep.
Okay. So that made him have relationship problems with his girlfriend
Mm-hmm.
because he couldn't tell her he loved her
Apparently.
until he saved a family from crashing. Like this is like I don't understand. Like some of these people, like I get having like emotional issues and family things, but like some of these things, it's just like, what are you people doing? Why are you people so weird? Anyway, what else? Oh, dang it. Okay, so I guess when they're trying to, when he's finally talking to them and trying to, figure out how to fly the plane, he keeps, I don't know how many times they did it, and it was starting to irritate me. He would just yell at them, "You gotta help me land this plane!"
Right.
And he's like screaming at them, and I'm like, your wife and two daughters are there. Have some composure, man. Like your kids are more composed than you are. And like I get it. You're afraid for your wife and children's lives that they're gonna die, but like
Mm-hmm.
why are you acting like a little girl sometimes? Why is your wife more composed than you are?
Right.
And everybody had to like convince him that he could do it.
Yep. Because I mean, at the very beginning, he couldn't land that single engine plane.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I can't do when my life's not on the line. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna run through a burning building unless my life is on the line.
I mean, that's fair. Okay.
Right? If I can, go the other direction and not have to go through the burning building, I will. I don't know. That was just kind of, I don't know. This kind of bothered me a little bit. And I guess they were just, I don't know. I
I
think it
think
was
they were
one of
just
those
trying to build up the
ham-fisted things where
tension.
they were trying to show the I guess the severity of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people understood that without him screaming, "You gotta help me land this plane!" 15 times.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you like the the generic Kit Kat bar?
Yeah.
She was like, "What's this?" "I don't know, some kind of chocolate." That is a Kit Kat bar. Nothing
Just
else
in a
is in
different
that
wrapper.
shape of a wrapper.
Right.
And yeah, then she just happens to have a peanut allergy. I don't
Yep.
know. This is funny. Um, and then the whole like I don't know the scene with the flight instructor getting drunk. Or not the flight instructor, the traffic
Air
control guy.
traffic controller. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's like going to the bar, getting drunk, having this weird interaction with
With the
that lady,
singer.
the
Yep.
singer. Yeah, I was like, what is this? Is weird.
Yeah, I didn't understand that scene at all.
Yeah, and then he shows up to work
Hungover.
hungover,
Yeah.
and then his, I guess, boss gets friend
Well, it's
boss
his
or
boss,
whatever.
but it's also his friend because
Yeah,
he got him the job there.
yeah. So then he starts like getting on him, and he's like, "Dude, I just need 5 minutes, okay? I got a headache, and you're not helping." But it was, I don't know. I mean, I can nitpick all the scenes, but for the most part, it all worked, and I guess it was just fine. It, one of the things I liked about it is that it's kind of like not really. I don't know. I don't want to say it didn't really seem. I mean, um, just like a wholesome movie, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Nothing crazy going on. Nothing obscene, right?
Right. Yeah, it was just your normal, average family movie
Yeah,
that everybody can go watch.
yeah. Like the whole family can go watch it. I think it was rated PG. Um, which was good because I don't know. There's just don't seem to be a lot of decent family movies. They're either super cheesy or there's something in the family movie that,
Some kind of agenda they're pushing. Uh
yeah,
huh.
some kind of agenda or yeah, just some narrative that they're trying to force upon people. And this didn't have any of that. It was just, even though it's faith based, it and you said it was Christian, but it didn't. I would think it was Christian too, but it didn't explicitly say it was Christian. It's
Okay. Yeah.
kind of kind of somewhat universal, but um because they didn't really talk about it that much. It was just kind of one of the underlying themes about his faith was being um tried because he was sad his friend and his loved ones were dying.
Yeah.
But everything else seemed okay in his life.
Right.
So he didn't have enough problems. So God was like, "Oh, you don't have enough problems. I got you, bro. Guess what? You're gonna learn how to fly a plane today."
Guess that's one way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the end, it said it became a pilot and did a bunch of stuff, um, doing supply missions or something in foreign countries or whatever.
Yeah. Doing relief missions
Relief missions.
to
Yeah.
like Belize, Haiti, and some other place. I think it said.
Yeah. Which is cool. I don't know if I'd get on a plane with him because he seemed a little squirrely.
Yeah.
Mm. You gotta help me land this plane. My family's on here. Anyway, like every single time, it got more annoying. Mm, it did kind of bother me that. Well, I was trying to remember. Did he reconcile his faith before or after he landed? I was thinking it was after.
It was. I feel like there was a scene right before they landed
Yeah,
where he prayed for help, but
yeah,
then when he landed, he said, "I'm sorry."
yeah. Okay,
So
that kind of bothered me. I get it. Um, yeah, I don't know. What did you think about it?
About what?
That part, like where his repentance was after God saved him. God, yeah,
I
God.
didn't really think about it at all,
Okay.
so I don't really have an opinion on that.
Well, form one right now. Hurry up.
I don't want to form one right now because I haven't thought it through.
Were you a slow thinker or something?
Yes.
That's disappointing.
Okay.
Um, Pretend you're in a plane and you're gonna crash if you don't think of an answer right now.
Then I guess I'm gonna crash.
um, do you think you could have landed the plane?
I would like to think so.
But
There was no but. I would like to think so.
what are your odds? If you were in his situation, what do you think your odds would have been?
Well, I mean, in the movie he had one flight, but apparently in real life he had actually flown Cessnas quite often.
What?
Yeah, like he had in real life, from what I've heard, is he actually had experience flying Cessnas. So this was
Like
just a
more than
bigger
one flight?
plane. Yeah. So this was just a bigger plane than he was used to.
Okay.
So if that's true, then I feel like the actual person had more of a chance than I would. But
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because in the movie he's in the plane once and he can't land the plane. And he wasn't
right.
even flying the plane, he was just trying to land the plane.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's trying to land this slightly larger plane. It's
Right. It
like
wasn't a
going
big plane,
right,
but
it's like
it's
going from a compact car to an SUV.
yeah.
So it's not um that's interesting. Yeah, that okay. Anyway, well, I think your chances are probably relatively good because I have done one of those exploratory flights and like I flew a plane mostly by myself for an hour and I landed the plane mostly by myself on my first try and um yeah, I didn't die. I didn't freak out. I mean, it's a little
Right.
nerve-wracking because it's like your first time, but if it was like his sixth flight or whatever, I think he should have been a little more composed.
Right.
Especially like it's like when I went on that flight, I thought, okay, this is gonna be completely different than anything I've ever experienced before, and it's basically just driving in the sky.
Okay.
Like it was like you have a throttle, your gas pedal, and you have a steering wheel. The only thing is you can go up and down or left and right.
Right.
So it wasn't that big of a deal. Like flying was like actually like flying around was relatively easy. It's just landing. You have to make sure you throttle correctly so you don't hit the ground too hard or fall out of the sky.
Right.
um, yeah, interesting. I don't know. I didn't know about that. I didn't look into it that much about the actual, and I haven't heard anything about the movie or the actual guy. Very strange.
Yeah, I think one of
Um,
the strong points of the movie was the suspense that they were able to build up the tension. Felt like that was good. A lot of the actors did a good job as well.
yeah, yeah, I think so. And then especially when the phone when he lost phone connection and then he was flying by himself, like that built
Yeah.
up a lot of tension. So I
Right.
think that um that made sense. And then he was also flying through a storm,
Right.
which did pose extra challenges, but was the storm real in real life or is that just
Oh, I have no
theatrical,
idea.
right? Mm-mm-mm. Or what do you think about like that, like true stories where they're like, this is based on a true story, and then they just
Change everything.
change everything, or like just change like really important parts, like
I
where
mean
he's
that.
actually had like a lot of time in a plane before.
Yeah. I mean that irritates me when they take extensive liberties.
Hmm.
It's irritating, but I also understand to some point if you're trying to make a movie, you need to sensationalize it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like real life has a lot of sensation in it already.
Okay.
I don't know. I think some of the stuff they do is to make it easy to sensationalize it.
Right.
Because if they
That's
just
what I was
use
basically saying.
right, but because if they just use the actual real life events, it would take a little bit more work for them and their writers to make a decent story for it to come across well on screen. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's why I like. I don't know. Sometimes I like true stories, and then it. I don't know. Sometimes I either want them to like okay, this is based on a true story, but we just took the main plot. Everything else is fake.
Right. And
Like
that's why they
even
always say
though
it's based on a true story. They never say this is exactly one for one what happened.
right, but it should say like loosely based or like I need a percentage here. It needs to be like 10% or 90%.
20% based on a true story.
That's
Yeah.
I can hang with that. Cuz they're like, "Oh, and this one says and based on the incredible true story." So this makes me think it's more like accurate to the true story. I
Okay.
don't know. Just me. Anyway, did you watch the end where it showed like the real people?
Yeah.
Yeah, they that guy doesn't look like Dennis Quaid at all.
Right. Yeah. None of the actors fit any of the roles of the actual
And
people.
yeah, and it was when did you say it was actually happened 2009?
Yeah.
Why did all of the footage look like it was from the 90s?
I have no idea.
But didn't it though?
It did. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
kind of grainy and not great camera quality. Yep.
And like the some of the clothes they were wearing were
Well, they're also from Louisiana, so
You're right.
yep.
um oh man, it's good stuff. Yeah, but none of and then okay, so and then another thing that I thought about was like Dennis Quaid and Heather Graham. Like I looked at their stuff and like um he's like 15 years older than her.
Ah, okay.
I was like, that's I think she's more accurate to the age than Dennis Quaid was because that guy's not like 7 years old.
Right.
But so far, this movie only has a 5.2, no, 5.6 on IMDb. It's a little low.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of right in the range of what we gave. We were slightly higher at 6, but 5.6
Yeah,
isn't that far off.
it's not that far off, but I don't think it's a 5 movie.
All right.
Anyway, you want to go fly a plane?
No, it's not
We
something
do
that's
it.
on my bucket list to do.
It's not on your bucket list. What about So you'd never go get your pilot license?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It's that's why when I went and did the exploratory flight, I was like, "Oh, this is cool. I could do this." And then they were like, "Yeah, all right, that'll be tens of thousands of dollars now." And I'm like, "Bye, bye, no thanks.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a I don't want to be a sky taxi driver."
Okay.
Because I thought about it, and I was like, "That's all pilots are is taxi. They're bus drivers of the sky."
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, okay. I'm definitely oversimplifying it, but that's what it seems like to me. No
All right.
thanks.
So, yeah. What are your closing thoughts?
Good movie. I would definitely recommend people go watch it. I mean, for families or for anybody really. I think this is a movie for anyone. Just something to watch. Um, kill a couple hours, see a good story. I like the one thing that I did like about it was that it's obviously faith based, right? At least
Mm-hmm.
somewhat. But it wasn't like they weren't ham fisting all of the faith based stuff in. They were ham fisting some of the drama.
Trauma. Yeah. But it
But the
wasn't just all in your face. Hey, this
yeah,
is what you should believe. Right.
yeah, when like his wife wasn't like browbeating him. There wasn't any crazy stuff like that. There wasn't any like um, you know, no crazy atheist on the thing telling him that you know curse God and die.
Right.
So I kind of liked that. It's just an easygoing movie, really. You don't have to invest a lot of brain power in watching it.
Okay.
There's a fly in my house. Anyway, your closing thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much the same as the opening. Thought it was good. I thought some of the drama was a little forced, but overall, solid plot, good
Mhm.
acting. Um,
I do like Dennis Quaid. He's a good actor.
yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was a good movie. I'd give it
yeah,
a watch recommendation.
yeah. The thing came on. So one thing that also didn't make sense at the end was when the traffic control guy left the tower and just started running.
Well, he had to go tell them to go the emergency vehicles to go somewhere else because they were not going to be close enough when the
They were
plane
going to the wrong
landed or
runway or
crashed.
something,
Something.
but they
But
beat him
then,
there.
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna run." Okay, Forrest. Like, yeah. So you just have that guy running. You have the kids on their bikes, and it's like, okay, sure, makes sense. Anyway, okay,
Yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps it
we'll
up.
wrap it up.
So if you guys made it this far in the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below on some other movies that you want us to watch and review.
Yep. And Thursday is our series review, and Mondays are movies. Normally 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Normally, we'll see what happens. This Thursday we're doing jury duty again. So we will see you guys next time.